All right, so we're going to bounce around to a couple things real quick first. These are just things I came across doing my research that I didn't know. So this is from India TV. Not sure of the reliability. This is back on Valentine's Day a couple months ago. It says here, Kim Jung Ung shoots dead officer for violating coronavirus quarantine, exiles another. North Korean leader Kim Jong Un ordered the killing of a trade official after the man visited a public bath while he was told to remain in a quarantine zone as a precaution to the infection spread. As per South Korean media reports, the trade official was shot dead instantly as he broke the quarantine. And he came from China. Hey, look, they don't play there. Come on. They do not play in these communist countries, but of course some individuals want that kind of stuff here, as long as they have the power, right? The other case here, I'll show you that real quick. It says that reports suggested North Korea is isolating anyone who has gone or come into contact with anyone who has been to China in recent times. This is being done as a bid to avoid the CV at all costs. Reports also suggested that another official who tried to cover up his travels to China has been exiled to a farm, as per the orders of Kim Jong Un. Hey, exiled to a farm or a bullet in the dome, I'll take the farm any day of the week. So that's one thing. Let's jump to something else. This is from Town Hall about 5 days ago. It's a conservative site. It says here, it looks like CNN blew the Kim Jong Un is dead story or dying story, and they're not alone. Now, hindsight is what it is, right? But this is why sometimes I don't jump on something right away. They'll have the Trump pressers he gives or whatever, and the media will be like, oh, Trump said this. I don't jump on the story right away because I like to watch the video for myself and see what happened. Or if there is some kind of theory or speculation about something, I'll wait till the next day. I'll be a little bit late on it until we get more facts, right? I don't just jump on stuff just to get a video out. So maybe, like I said, if I'm a little behind sometimes, that's why. I like to wait for things to unfold. So let's see what we've got here. We'll just read a little bit of this and we'll jump to something else. Well, it finally happened. North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un reportedly had heart surgery and suffered a severe complication that left him in a dire medical situation. He could also be dead. That's what CNN and NBC News' Katie Turd peddled out respectively. Granted, this is a closed society, so be cautious. And after China totally botched a science experiment in one of their virology labs in Wuhan, which led to the current COVID pandemic, I'm not trusting their sources either. It led to some excellent memes and social media posts. There were also very serious discussions about who would take over. Kim's children are very young. He has one daughter and two other children who we really don't know about. Here you see a couple funny tweets. This is obviously a dig at them for what they reported when the Iranian general, I believe he was, Salami, got blown up, right? So what he says in a dig at CNN, and I get it in most instances, but again, this is why I wait. He says here, now come tomorrow, we may find out more. But for now, it looks like CNN and NBC News jumped the gun on this one. Look, even writers at the left-wing nation knew to take this story with a grain of salt. But then we got the brain dead angle. Dear Lord. All right. New York Post 4 days later, and this was just yesterday. North Korean dictator Kim Jong Un rumored to be dead. Again, that's why I try not to jump on things one way or another too quickly. It says here, Kim Jong Un is rumored to be dead, according to a Hong Kong broadcast network, while a Japanese magazine is reporting that North Korea's rocket man is in a vegetative state after he underwent heart surgery earlier this month. And I think that was on April 12th, they said that was, or maybe, yeah, the 12th I think was the day that they said we last have seen him. So maybe the 12th or the 13th. A vice director of HKSTV, Hong Kong Satellite Television, a Beijing-backed broadcast network in Hong Kong, claimed that Kim was dead, citing a very solid source. Her post on the Chinese messaging app Weibo has been shared widely on social media according to a report in the International Business Times. Other unconfirmed reports attributed to senior party sources in Beijing said an operation to insert a stent went wrong because the surgeon's hands were shaking so badly. Hey, wouldn't you be nervous if you had to operate on the dictator, president of your country? I mean, come on now. Imagine the stress of that. You know what he is, and you know if you go wrong, you're going to end up like the others, taken out back behind the shed and given the old Yeller treatment. Here's another one, TMZ. Kim Jong Un reportedly dead after botched heart surgery. So it looks like they picked it up as well. And again, not saying these sources are reliable at all. By the time you see this video, who knows? Maybe he's perished by then, or maybe we find out it was legit or not legit. The point was just saying that the individual at town hall and even Katie Turd, you got to kind of, I know they live in a world more so where they have to break the news or try to break a story. And if they're wrong, nobody's going to care. It says here North Korea's pile of goo, Kim Jung Ung, has reportedly died or is on his deathbed with no hope for recuperation, according to media outlets in China and Japan. Amid reports China has sent a medical team to their communist neighbors this week to check in, advise on Kim, a Hong Kong-backed news channel's vice director, who's apparently the niece of a Chinese foreign minister, blasted out the news herself. He's dead. TMZ has not confirmed that. She was out there trying to get some subs on Weibo, trying to get some likes and some impressions, however that works. That probably doesn't even work that way, but the woman put the report on a social media app called Weibo for her nearly 15 million followers to read. Wow, 15 million, she's probably up to 20 by now. Citing a very solid source about the claim Kim had, in fact, perished. A Japanese magazine reports he's in a vegetative state after a heart surgery gone wrong. So again, the same kind of information. So what does that all mean? Forbes here. Meet Kim Yo Jong, Kim Jong Un's sister and possible successor in North Korea. Now I've heard there may be other individuals in line for the position. Patriarchy apparently is what they like to say in some of the other sources I had looked at. And it would create a power vacuum if she's not appointed, if the succession plan hasn't been put in place in the preceding, week and a half since the surgery or the botched surgery. I'd imagine they're probably pooping their pants over there trying to figure this thing out so that there's a seamless transition. But it talks about his sister here. Not too shabby, relatively. I mean, look at him, a 300-pound pile of goo. Hey, we got, hey, we could work on a little something here. I have some fun with it. But it says she rocketed to international attention during the 2018 Olympics in Pyongyang. So like many in her family, she's a mysterious figure with basic details like her exact age, somewhere in her early 30s, unconfirmed by the North Korean regime. A favorite of her father, late Kim Jong-il, she attended school in Switzerland, the Washington Post reports, where she took ballet lessons before returning to North Korea in the early 2000s. It makes you wonder how somebody could go off to school, off to college. You'd imagine she was probably there for several years. How she could go out there and be out there in westernized society, enjoying all of the things we have. It's not like she doesn't know what it's like out there, like most of their people, because they only get information disseminated that the state wants, right? It's not like she doesn't know how great other countries are and how great they have it. So it makes you wonder how warped somebody must be if she does end up becoming the one in power and continues along the same lines as he does with the rhetoric and all the nonsense. That I just couldn't understand how that exposure to westernized culture, seemingly her being a part of it, doing the ballet stuff and whatnot, how she could go back to the country and then can kind of revert back to whatever she was before and subject her citizens, her fellow North Koreans, to this type of situation they're forced to live in there. Nicknamed the Ivanka Trump of North Korea, Kim Yo Jong said last month that President Trump and her brother had special and firm personal relations, despite the ongoing conflict around the latter's nuclear weapons, an arsenal the rising leader seems eager to protect. Responsible for pushing North Koreans' propaganda and protecting her brother's reputation, she recently called South Korea a frightened dog barking for objecting to a live-fire military demonstration by the state, The Guardian notes. So on one hand, she seems to acknowledge the relationship between Trump and her brother as being something positive, but on the other hand, this kind of rhetoric with South Korea, you don't know where she's going to come in on this. And feminists everywhere, hey, you're going to get your shot. You're getting your woman in office. I bet she'll be celebrated in some of those feminist circles here. My bet is that she'll be in these publications, that she'll be talked about online and celebrated in social media. You might even see her on the National Enquirer several times. Who is the mysterious Kim Yo Jong? Who is she wearing to the latest military celebration? Who is she dating? What kind of alcohol does she like? I'm being ridiculous with it. Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me to see some individuals, like those radical feminist types that really celebrate this kind of thing as, hey, we've got a woman in power, let's see what she does. Even if she's some tyrannical individual that starts firing nuclear weapons into the ocean, she'll still be celebrated. But again, you got to approach this stuff from a cynical mindset, but still, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. When I think about this, I hear individuals talking about the power vacuum, and I get it. If she doesn't assume the position, be that as a figurehead temporarily, kind of like a transitionary person to the next individual in line, like I said, the patriarchy, maybe he's got some military official, some high level individual that is really going to be the next leader that would kind of carry forward their plans and would be an individual that China would be comfortable with. Maybe they're not comfortable with her in that position. Maybe they have other individuals in mind that they've dealt more closely with that are more friendly to the state, to where China knows that that individual would just be a puppet dictator of China. Now, people talk about potential for destabilization within the region, and I doubt it. I mean, it could happen, but what I would think is that a China-backed leader would be the one that's going to assume power long term. And to me, I think that creates stability, because for as much as whatever China's doing, I think that they have to realize that they're not in a position quite yet for their world dominance. They may be there in 10, 20, 30 years with this Belt and Road Initiative that they're partaking in and making inroads, like we said, into Africa. Now they're doing stuff in Europe. So it may be some time before China's ready to go ahead and assume that power. It may be some time before China's ready to hit that red button of their own and go ahead and try to send us a little something in the air to let us know that they're number one now. But I just don't see destabilization, because I think they're smart enough, the Chinese, to know that if they allow a situation to happen where there's some kind of power struggle, that it could potentially create some kind of destabilization. I think China would step in right away and say, look, we provide you all this money, food, aid, military supplies, equipment, military support. This is what you're going to do, and you're going to do it now. I don't doubt that there's communication back and forth between the upper levels of the CCP and those who are in charge in Korea in the interim while Un is out of commission. So that's why I don't see destabilization. Some other individuals do. And again, I could be wrong. I think this is where you're going to see China kind of flex its muscle on North Korea and kind of dictate to say, hey, you work for us, so this is what you're doing. So again, I don't see destabilization within the region. I don't see any kind of conflict coming out of this, because it's not in China's best interests right now. Again, you can't trust anything that comes out of state media. Oh, you have to feel like something serious happened, because China wouldn't get involved. A team of doctors isn't just going to go there for anybody other than him. Even individuals that are higher level up within the government there, are they really going to have Chinese doctors flying in to go ahead and try to perform the surgery or try to fix whatever went wrong? The mistake, perhaps, and if there was anything that even could have been done, like I said, he's a 300-pound pile of goo, drinks all the time, smokes all the time. They say he loves fast food like KFC and McDonald's and stuff like that. So it was bound to happen at some point. And was there anything that a Chinese team of professionals could have done anyway? I mean, he seems to have kind of like Pizza Hutted himself and eaten himself to death, if you get the old Spaceballs reference there. But was there anything that could be done? The doctor who performed this botched surgery so far, he's never to be heard from again, even though he probably couldn't have done anything himself. To fly a team of Chinese doctors there, it would lead me to believe that something serious has happened. Again, you don't know whether he's in a vegetative state, dead, dying. You would think that, again, it's one of those situations where we're probably going to get some reports that come out in the next few days that said, yeah, he died a couple days ago, or, he died today. That's just where I'm at with it. So who knows? We'll see what happens. By the time you see this video, he may be dead already. And hey, can't be heartbroken over it. Unfortunately, it's not going to lead to a situation where the country's going to be better off. China's just going to put the next dictator in, whether that be his sister or somebody else. That's just the way it is. China controls the situation, and that's just how it's going to happen. I know that maybe we want to believe that there's some bright spot. I know we want to believe that maybe something good can come of this. And obviously, if he dies, that'll be the good thing that comes of it. But I don't see any kind of situation where North Korea starts to go down the road to democracy or anything like that. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think. Take care, everybody.